So, what happens when you meet a man and then you start dating and he never leaves for 3 years? Then you find out that he's been sexually abusing your daughter, terrorizing you, and that he's a cult leader. Find out next on the Story to Story with Shannon exclusive. Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching Story to Story with Shannon. Now, this is an exclusive. So, today I have Darshell Smith in the studio, and she's going to talk to us about how she survived a cult leader. Hi, Darshell.
Hi, how are you?
So nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on Story to Story with Shannon.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right. So, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from?
Well, who I am, I am, well, actually, I'm a mom, singer, songwriter. I'm from Akron, Ohio. I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, and I currently became a writer, author. So,
Yes, and we're definitely going to talk about that.
yes,
So, you grew up in Akron, Ohio?
yes,
Okay, so most of your life you spent there.
yes.
And how did you get to Atlanta?
I came to Atlanta basically I love, well, I sing, so I wanted to do like stage plays with like Tyler Perry. So
Mhm.
I was, looking, for a career for that basically. So I came here to Georgia really to get closer to my sister as well as pursue my career. Yeah.
Okay. And so, talk to me a little bit about your childhood. So, you say you sing. So, did you always sing growing up?
hmm Yeah, so I've been singing since I was like 4 years old. Um, my granny, she put me in a choir. I never forget that I was running around the house singing so loud. My uncle when I was quiet, my
Mhm.
uncle would bring pots and pans and start banging them because he was like, "Oh, you messed up my sleep now. You quiet, I got you." So, but growing up, I have a lot of cousins. My granny had over 13 kids, so it was a lot of us. So have fun childhood basically with so much family and love.
Okay. So, talk to us a little bit about your teenage years. Were they bumpy? Was it smooth? How did that go?
Well, I want to say it was a little bumpy because in my teenage years my mother got sick. So um I started kind of like trying to take care of her and understand what she had going on, but eventually she died when I was like 17. So it was kind of iffy, a lost period, but I understand it now.
Sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
So, talk to us a little bit. Do you think that that affected maybe? I'm sure that had some effect on the trajectory of your life. Like once your mother passes, did you find yourself getting into things that you wouldn't have normally done? How did that shape you?
Okay, yes, I did. I felt lost because before my mother passed away, something kind of tragic happened to her. So that caused her, to pass away when I was that age. But I was like 5 when something happened to her. I haven't really, talked about it much, but um later on in life it did affect me. But my dad, he stepped in when I was like, I want to say 16, and he took over, and it really helped me. It really helped me because my mother was going, but my dad was coming in.
Oh, okay. So your father wasn't there before.
No, he was in prison.
Okay.
He young, doing crazy stuff. So
Okay. And then your father steps in and you live with your father from what age to what age?
I moved with my dad when I was like 18, and I stayed there for like a year and a half. I was, practically grown. I just wanted to be there with him for a while. Then I had my own place. I ended up having a child, so I had got my own place.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about relationships.
Okay.
Okay. So you had a child when you were 18, 19.
19.
Okay. So talk to us about how you guys met and how that
Okay.
transpired.
Well, I met my oldest daughter's father. Where did I meet him at? It was so long ago. No, I met him in the south side of Akron, Ohio. I met him, and we were both, teenagers. So it was just like one of those things. It happened. We ended up having a child. It wasn't really like planned out or anything like that. So it wasn't a spectacular story, a love story, anything like that.
Yeah, it was just kind of like one of those things. So you were around 19, 20, around this time, still in Ohio.
Yes.
Okay. And so what happens after that? Did you, because I know you said you were a mother of five,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So was there like another relationship, another, situation in Akron?
Yeah, so basically I ended up moving to Georgia when I was like 22 for a little while, and then I came back home to Akron in 2007. So I ended up meeting someone who would become my husband. So I ended up getting married, and basically 8 years after I had my daughter, I got married, and we had 2 children.
Okay.
And I was married for over 5 years. And that relationship, it was fine. It was cool. It was just we really just grew apart. Let me just say that.
Okay. So nothing like tragic or, anything like that from that relationship.
Well, if we
Just the normal.
yeah, it was just the normal. It was the normal. It was some extra stuff that was going on, but it wasn't to the extreme. But it was enough to say, hey, we got to part ways.
Got it. Okay, so now you're a mother of three.
Yes.
And so when you guys part ways, how old are you now?
When we part ways, that was in 2000. I want to say I was 30. Wow, you taking me
Early
back.
30s.
Yes, early 30s, taking me back to my age.
With all the little dots together.
Yes, I was in my 30s. I was in my early 30s.
Got it. So now you're in Atlanta, or were you still in Ohio?
No, 2012, I'm in Atlanta.
Okay, so now you're in Atlanta, you're
Yeah.
newly divorced, you have these children, so you're like, okay, now I'm ready to pursue my career, correct?
Yes, correct.
So ultimately, you meet Jamal.
Hmm.
Okay, what year was that?
I met him in 2017.
Okay, so that was a 5-year gap. So what was going on from 2012 to 2017? Just the regular?
Yeah, just a regular living life, trying to learn Georgia, because when I first had moved to Georgia with my oldest daughter, it was kind of rocky. I didn't understand it. I was younger. I couldn't keep a place, but now I was able to financially, keep a place. We were good. So I was really just filling out Georgia.
Okay.
So I was here. I was my stable foundation.
And so you were singing, shooting videos, doing all the things, trying to get into the industry.
So yeah, I just started dealing with different people, churches. I was doing Victory World Church. I know Montel Williams. He was at church. He was like, "You need to come up here and sing, girl." So I stayed just like going to church and everything.
Okay.
And then 2016, I started really pursuing my music and taking it, serious. Basically, I mean, I always did the stage plays and everything, but um 2016 going 2017, that's when I really started taking it serious, investing in myself. That's when I started doing my music videos.
Okay. So how did you go from that to meeting Jamal? Was he kind of on the scene? How did that happen?
Yeah, so I was with a bunch of different artists, and we all were going to do different podcasts and different shows. So one day it was 3 of us. And one of my friends was like, "Hey, I want you to come meet some people at this record label." So who would have known? When that happened, my life was about to change, and I didn't even know it. So, and basically that night after a show, we went to a record label. Well, it wasn't the complete label, but it was one of their homes. Even though I didn't meet him until, the following day, but I seen him. Someone was staring at me from a dark room. Somebody was staring at me, and I'm like, what is going on? Because I literally felt uncomfortable, from like the entrance into the place. Somebody greeted us with, they had a little tray with drugs on it. I don't do drugs. So, I mean, so it was real creepy for me. And then it was like, I left out of there because I felt weird through the situation, I was like, oh, I'm about to leave the person that brought me here because I'm not feeling this. Because they know my character. Like, I don't like, weird situations like that. But when I had left and went to my car, the guy, the CEO, he came back out and he was like, please come back in. It's not like that or whatever. They have different people that do different things, and they didn't really know, I wasn't, like that. Of course, I'm not peer pressure on that level, but yeah, but I went back in, which I shouldn't have, but I went back in, and like I said, somebody was staring at me through an open room door. I didn't know who it was until the following day. And the next day, everybody is bright, it's early, because we went that night to meet, and we actually ended up going to dinner that night too, with just the CEO, the record label people, whatever. And but yeah, the next day, that's when I ended up meeting Rashad Jamal, and I walked in there. He was sitting on the floor. He had a high top fade, and he was handsome, like the sun was shining on him good.
Okay. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? It was one of them days, like if you see him, he has a real, nice body. So normally I'm not attracted to someone that's, that height and none of that. It was just not even that. But to be honest, like it was okay at the moment, but that's not what I was thinking about. I was thinking about my music, so I really didn't, care about any of that. So we were there just basically starting to sing my song called Tears Out of Control. And that's where I started to record it there.
Now, does he go by Jamal Rashad? What does he go by?
Okay. At that time, he was going by Jeda.
Okay.
Jeda. Now, everyone started calling him like Divine Insight and Rashad Jamal. So.
Okay. So was he in the music industry? Was that why he was there?
Yeah, so he was a rapper first. Like he was rapping. He still was rapping, as far as I know. He was still trying to put out like conscious music or whatever.
Okay. Okay. So you guys meet and you started talking, I'm assuming, that night.
No. So we meet, and basically, the CEO, he was like, hey, this is so and so, so and so. You guys are going to be working together, and that type of stuff.
Oh, so you and Rashad were going to be working together.
As label mates.
Okay, got it.
So it was not like that at all. Like it wasn't like someone was just coming there to connect or on that level as far as relationships or anything like that. It was just for music. Like I was genuinely just focused, like business wise, this is what I want to do as far as my music. So I wanted to network. And so basically we connected, but then the CEO, he started asking me, hey, because I'm the only one to have a car. They had cars, but Rashad Jamal didn't have a car. So they was like, hey, so can we give you gas money to take him here to do this, for music purposes? I was like, okay, that's fine. So that's how we end up even getting close to each other, as far as him being, near me personally.
Got it. Okay. So now you guys are label mates and you're doing music together, so forth. When does it start getting romantic?
Okay, so basically it went like this. One day I went home, and I don't want to tell you everything, but one day I went home just to check on my babies, and he never left.
So he was there at your house? Or you invited him to your house?
Okay. Basically, they asked me to take him around to do something, but I ran, the errand for him, that I needed to run home, I didn't think nothing of it. Like, I didn't think, it would be bad to invite him in because all these other people are involved. You see what I'm saying? But, he never left for 3 years.
Okay. So how do you go from, hey, come on in, to,
hey, you never leave? That was freaky to me too. Like it just happened like He came in. I remember one of my best friends came over with a contract because I worked with somebody else doing music, and he came over like talking, and he was sitting on my couch and he's talking about music like he was just doing a regular rundown, but not knowing that it was really manipulation that he was going through. He seen me with a house. I have a 3-bedroom house. You know what I'm saying? And like it's just her and her kids here. She's single, so I feel like he basically tried to jump on that. And it was just so weird because his the way he approached it was like, I couldn't go back there for a minute. I guess they locked him out. He couldn't get back. And it was weird. I don't know at that moment, what was really going on. But it was like, oh, okay. So, but we'll be heading there. But he never left. Like, we still would go back to the studio, but he's still connected to me. And I was just retarded at that moment. I felt retarded because now looking back, I'm like, I could have just got away from this. But I didn't know that I was really the target. Like, I was the target of someone that needed somewhere to stay. I guess they call them homosexual or something like that. Someone that just targets single moms and, try to use, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that shit. It was just really just a lot.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so now you guys are living together. So did it feel like you were living together, or did it still
no,
feel like y'all were label mates?
it felt like, everything just stopped. It was just like a pause because it started getting real crazy when it was time for me to, and it was like within 2 weeks, I felt like a hostage in my own home because at this point in time, he has gotten on the phone with his mother and he's communicating with her. Like, I'm over here helping her with certain things, and I'm like, that's not, really what's going on. I really want to just take you back to where you are. But then it was like, I don't know if I was persuaded in a way, I don't know, manipulated, like, but um he just, I don't know how he did what he do. Like, he has a way of making people connect with him in some type of way, and I started feeling a little sorry for him and stuff like that, and I didn't understand. And then the intimacy came in really where I guess maybe it was a moment where I felt like, okay, I guess I could talk to him on that level because he's very talented when it comes to the music. I mean, he's very intelligent, like when you speak to him and stuff like that, but he was super like aggressive. So it started getting to the point where if I wanted to get away from him, it wasn't happening. Like, that's where I started feeling like kind of like I couldn't leave my own home. When I try to get ready to walk out the door, he literally would jump over the couch to stop me from going outside. The only way I got outside, is to take the kids to school, and he went with me.
So he was literally like with you every waking moment,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yes. All the
Grocery
time.
store,
Yes. Every single,
doctor visits.
yes. I never had any space for him for like 3 years. For like 3 years. And like I said, it was so weird. Like, that's never happened to me in my life. And I really felt like, to myself looking back, like, where was I at with, where was I with this situation? I'm thinking about music and doing this. We didn't even really go back there to record. I started, doing my own thing, spending my own money, going to different labels and doing it myself. It like we didn't even go back there. It was like he completely disconnected from the CEO. He said, I think he like you. I think he like you. So I'm like, oh my God. It just was it's hard. It's so hard to tell this story. It's so hard to let people know that I was in a predicament where I felt like a dummy, someone who was manipulated by somebody who was a narcissist, and that's what he did. Um, because I come to find out that he's done this to several other women and their children, and he has strangulation charges that I wasn't even aware of. He was literally on a run at that time, so he needed somewhere to stay. So he definitely was so in my ear to the point like it was crazy. I was isolated from my friends within 2 weeks. Like, literally, I was held at gunpoint when oh my God.
Okay. So y'all are living together.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to feel something may not be right with this relationship. But as many of us, like when you're in it, you don't quite see it, you know. It's kind of like the frog in the boiling water where you turn the water up just a little bit. That's how they kill the frog. You turn the water up just a little bit at a time so the frog doesn't realize it's being boiled. So it's like the small little changes that happen over time that you don't, but they're so small you don't realize it until it's like boiling. What was it that he was saying that he was building?
Okay, so the speed past all of that. He started to do studying, but I had noticed that in the beginning because I literally had to sit for hours and watch him speak, and it was like I was the practice audience, me and my family. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So,
So he would get you guys together, sit you on the sofa, and say, "Hey, listen to me speak."
exactly, and it was continuously every single day, couple hours a day.
So what made him go into this?
Um, I feel like because people started to listen to him, it seemed like he wanted somebody to listen to him because he talks a lot. He needs somebody to like feed off of. And also, he started monetizing off these people. Like, people started sending him, like, cash apps and stuff, like, keep talking about, different topics that they wanted to hear about, from history, and it was more stuff that like I didn't know about. I didn't go into what he really had going on. I just kind of like um help him create his content, the channel and everything like that so he can kind of stop talking to us so much.
So when you say help him create content, his channel, what does that look like?
That mean me encouraging him to do the YouTube channel, keep talking. They like what you're saying, keep going, you know what I'm saying? Because he was talking about, regular history that we already are aware of. And then he started to study another person named Young Pharaoh. He started to study him, and Young Pharaoh was talking about different topics, going on with the government. And, he started getting deep into that. And so he started more going into depth with, talking about those subjects, and people were really just in tuned into it. So after a while, we broke up, and that's when he went with someone else and he took it to the next level. And I think she was one of the people that was following him already on that level, so they continued on to him becoming a cult leader.
So when did you realize, or did you realize at the time that things were starting to get a little different with I don't know what you call it, what he was building, with the ministry he was building, with with his followers, with his speaking? Did you see a shift happen, or did that happen after when he moved on to someone else?
That happened, I want to say after, but I saw all the signs, beforehand, because him just constantly, drilling us with different information that he wanted us to know, or just anything, or how he personally felt about certain things that I didn't agree with. So he would, get mad at me because I didn't agree with certain things that he was saying, like there's no Jesus didn't exist, and I don't agree with that. So I didn't agree with that. And God didn't exist. He said we're gods. But God was just like, he made us a little lower than the angels. God said there are other gods, but I am the one and only true God, the omnipotent one. So he didn't like that about me. So I mean, he just, when he left, he continued to go on. He started, like, I guess they worship crystals. He got so much deeper into um what he was doing. I wasn't there to see that part. I wasn't there. I only seen, what he did with us, and how he intimidated me and my family. I mean, it was just continuously someone walking around your house with guns all day inside the house. So you gonna listen to him.